Hello everybody and welcome to an unusual type of video. It's not really unusual, is it, Steve-O? It's more the fact that you don't normally do videos. Yeah, that is correct. I haven't actually done a video. I couldn't even tell you. The last time I actually put out a video publicly. Obviously, I used to do lots of members videos, but when it comes to public videos, I don't really do it. But because I'm unable to stream this week, I just thought, well, I've got 20 minutes spare before I go Lidl's. I thought I may as well just do a quick video, just giving you a quick idea of what I'm thinking ahead of this midweek fixtures, which have just come around like that. I wasn't even aware of it until at some point the middle of last week. So it's good for people like us nerds, that, what does Steve Merchant say? Nerdlings. That are obsessed with this game and want more and more football. And yeah, this week is just going to be quick turnover. Got today off, and then it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off, Saturday, Sunday. Brilliant. I love it. The midweek fixtures, the quick turnaround, back to Saturdays again. Brilliant. It's becoming a bit of a catchphrase itself. So, as I said last night on stream, I did my -4 yesterday. It was like at about 20 past 6. I just did the -4. I just did Estupiñán out for 8 Nuri, and I brought in Darwin for Watkins. Just get out of the way, get it done. Happy days, move on. Mainly because of the fixtures that Watkins has upcoming, the fact that he's a bit of a niggle. Was it precautionary taken off? Who knows? Who actually cares? Because I certainly don't. My season is that bad that it's just to the point where I'm just like, just get on with it. Just get this season out of the way, get it finished, get it gone, out the window, out the door as quickly as possible. But certainly from this team's perspective, it's looking okay. Flecken and goal ain't Nuri, Virgil van Dijk, Gabriel, Son, Foden, Palmer, Salah captain, Saka, Tony, Darwin. Now, going through the history, I'll be interested to see what the history is for the likes of Bournemouth and Brentford in their respective fixtures. So Bournemouth are at home to Crystal Palace and Brentford are at home to Brighton. So depending on where the fixture, the history goes, I may actually just decide, right then I'm going to go down that route instead. So for argument's sake, if Brentford's history against Brighton is really, really good, guess what? I'll play Tony. And if Bournemouth's history is better against Crystal Palace than Brentford, I'll probably play Solanke. It's quite simple, but the rest of the team speaks for itself, really. And to be fair, as I was speaking with Animations last night and Nuka Atoms, moving forward, it looks like I'm going to be within reason okay, and okay for the double game week 34, within reason. For me personally, thanks to Nuka Atoms and the fact that he posted the Ben Dinnery fixture list for the upcoming double game weeks and whatnot, it is looking very interesting from my point of view when to use the bench boost and the triple captaincy. Right now, as it stands, the triple captaincy is going on Cole Palmer for Chelsea's double. A guaranteed starter. He's one of the best players in the league this season. And I think that it could be, from my perspective, a really, really good option to be looking at when it comes to someone like Cole Palmer, who's been performing really, really well this particular year. And I think that with their fixtures of, where are they here? West Ham and Tottenham at home. I think that's prime for a Palmer to blank in those fixtures, don't you? I think they're prime for him to should be able to deliver in those particular fixtures. Let's not mess about here. So I'm kind of looking at that for a potential triple captaincy. The bench boost, it's just literally going to be down to circumstances. If in game week 34, which is the better double game week over double game week 37, I think that's the point where I'm just going to have to bench boost and try and get try and get as many decent fixtures players that I've got. So as it stands right now, Liverpool, Fulham, Everton, well, I've got the triple up already, so that's 3. Arsenal, I've already got a double up, so that's 5. Bournemouth, as it stands right this second, I've got a double up, so that's 7. Wolves, I've got 1, that's 8. And then that's it. So I've got 8 double game week players anyway. And then I've got Cole Palmer that's up against Arsenal. That's not the greatest of fixtures. Son blanks, but he becomes Eze, so that's 9 double game week players. Man City, I've got Foden, so that's then 10, and he's up against Brighton as well, decent fixture. And Brentford are away at Luton. That's a good fixture. And then whoever else I've got. So I think leading up to double game week 34, me replacing, for argument's sake, Nottingham Forest Turner, who doesn't even exist anymore for Nottingham Forest. I think Turner will be replaced by either one of Neto or Pickford. One of the two. It depends on how I'm looking at it as it stands right now. And of course, when it comes to the other players on my team, like the likes of Doherty, could I just swap Doherty out for someone like, I don't know, like another Wolves defender? I don't know. Maybe even a Crystal Palace defender. This Muniz, apparently Sim on FPL Juice was banging on about him, so maybe Muniz could come in for him instead. Or maybe even just double up with Arsenal. Just double up with Arsenal, double Arsenal defence, and just stick with that for the rest of the season. Because it is slim pickings, to be completely frank. By which point, I could potentially have, 3 Arsenal, 2 Bournemouth, one maybe 2 Crystal Palace, but probably 1 Crystal Palace, 1 maybe 2 Wolves. And then we go down the list of the various other teams, and I think bench boost 34 for me is looking like a likely chance it will happen. The double game week 37, Chelsea. If I've got a player, I've got a player. If not, I couldn't care less about them. Then we've got Tottenham. Obviously, Son would be a key factor in that. Son, that's probably about it. That's probably all you need, Son. If you really want to go for a punt, maybe Kulusevski, maybe Werner, Richarlison, but certainly for me, Son could be one. But even then, saying that out loud, Richarlison could be actually a very good option. Man City, whoever you've got. Brighton. Am I really going to be bringing any Brighton players for that? For Newcastle and Chelsea? No. And remember, you've got a factor in Europe as well. So Europa League games, Champions League games are going to be having an effect on the manager's thought processes depending on the situation in the leagues. Man United, again, who am I going to be thinking about bringing in? Of all the players of Man United, Rashford at a push. If I'm seriously thinking of bringing in a player, it would be Rashford. And then Newcastle, you've got the likes of Gordon, Isaac, Harvey Barnes. Monitor Harvey Barnes' minutes. Harvey Barnes could be a really good differential, like he could be. Remember when Jota last season, was it last season that he came back from injury or something, in like the last 9 game weeks he started every single game and he scored like 25 goals and got 12 assists? I can't remember, but he certainly did really, really well. But there was definitely a player, I'm sure it was Jota, that came back at the end of the last season after injury and did really, really well. So I think potentially he could be the one as well, maybe just a swap in and swap out. But certainly the guys that like the likes of Firetog that have not played their free hit are certainly in a position of power going into the likes of game week 34. But certainly double game week 34 versus double game week 37. 34 is the best one. And as a state, for me, looking at this, and of course we've got the likely double game because Ben Crellin has put it in double game week 36, where Chelsea look like they're going to be hosting West Ham and Tottenham. from an attacking perspective, two good fixtures. Palmer again, I think, could be the triple captaincy on him for those two fixtures, and then Tottenham away at Liverpool and away at Chelsea. Again, if you've got Son or any other Tottenham players, brilliant, but would you really be bringing them in? No. And I think, was it Animations? I think it was Animations last night, just no, it was Nuka Atoms, wasn't it? Overthinking about the fact that, yeah, but what if a player gets injured in training and whatnot? Don't even think like that. Just think logically. That's how I've got to think, and it's always typical with me as well this season, or in every single season of FPL, where I always seem to be towards the end of any season. It's like a marathon. It's we've only got 5 miles left. Right, then I'm just going to sprint to the end now and then win it. Well, I'm not suggesting for 1 minute I'm going to be winning anything this season, but the fact that in the last, admittedly, when you're 3 millionth in the world, it doesn't really matter. But I've had 4 green arrows in the last 4 weeks. I'm up to 1.1 million. 1.1 million. And yeah, when it comes to like the various mini leagues and whatnot, it's just, thankfully, it is green or grey. At the end of this particular week, I'm even up to 12th in the Patreon league, and I'm up to 17th in the Trophy League. So yeah, it's going quite well. Even in the moderator league, it's like I'm stuck. I'm not going to get past Blonde, but me and Firetog are in a battle now between one another. It really has come down to that, where Firetog's team is he played his wild card. He's looking really good. In fact, I've just seen he's got Onana in goal for Man United. He could be the one Man United player that people should be getting in, because you know what? He seems to have turned it around and looks like a decent kid. I think Onana could be a really good shout, actually, Firetog. That's actually a really good shout from a Man United aspect. He's only 4.9 as well. Yeah. Especially for people like me that are... we're going against Haaland here, but I think that at some point I will have to be bringing in Haaland, but I just don't know when. Maybe it will be for that double game week. I don't know, but I'll come to it when I come to it. But certainly, Firetog's team is looking perfectly set for the next upcoming game weeks. And even this week, he said that his bench is just going to be players that aren't literally going to be playing. So he's going to be relying on his first 11 to all make it. But the problem is that Darwin will be coming in for Gordon, Gabriel in for Gusto, which means that Gordon and Gusto are going to be on the bench, which means that his starting 11 will be, well, I'm assuming it will be Petrovic in goal. Petrovic in goal at home game against Man United, maybe vice versa, who knows, but Chelsea will be winning that. So Petrovic in goal, it'll be Udogie, Bradley and Gabriel, and then Palmer, Salah, Richarlison's son, Isaac, Darwin and Haaland. But of course, the likes of Richarlison, is he going to start against West Ham? Like, did the players that start against Luton perform well enough for Postecoglou to think, actually, we're missing Richarlison here, bring him back? Who knows? He came on for a fleeting appearance. He played for 5 minutes. And again, remember, this is a guy that's coming off the back of injury, gone out to Brazil, whatever he's done. And yeah, I would assume that Richarlison, there's a high chance of him going to be starting against Spurs. And that's the thing with Firetog's team, is that he hasn't got any rotation risk players in that particular team. It's the same with my team. I've got no rotation problems with my team. They're all guaranteed starters. I know people keep banging on about Darwin and everything. Darwin's the number 1 striker for Liverpool. And Klopp's really, really happy with the way his front three are performing at the moment, especially Diaz. The three of them have got, as it stands right now, they've got a good connection going. So I think for me, I'm very happy with the players that I've got. But moving on to the fixtures this particular midweek, and it is going to be quite tough to call regarding will we actually get any away victories, because even Mark Goldbridge made the point about the fact that this particular week he always finds that after international breaks, he finds that usually it's the home team advantage, and surprise, surprise, this week there was not a single away victory. It was away points, but not a victory. But we kick off with Newcastle versus Everton. Newcastle they will win this. Everton will make it tough for Newcastle. The history is... It's on Newcastle's side. And usually, it's usually to a clean sheet as well. If there's a winner in this game, it's to a clean sheet. So Newcastle 2-0 winners. They beat Everton 3-1. Everton beat them 1-0. Newcastle beat them 1-0. Everton beat them away. Newcastle beat them away 4-1. And then this season, Everton actually beat Newcastle 3-0. But I think that the fact that Everton cannot score, you've virtually got a guaranteed clean sheet there. And also, Newcastle should be getting past Everton. I wouldn't say easily. If I'm predicting this game, maybe 2-0, 1-0, 2-0. But Nottingham Forest versus Fulham. This to me sounds like it could be goals. Could be potentially goals in this particular fixture. Nottingham Forest can't defend. Fulham are just literally all over the place at the moment here. And as it stands, as we're looking at it right now, Fulham love playing against Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest 0, Fulham 1. Nottingham Forest 0, Fulham 4. Fulham 0, Nottingham Forest 1. A lot of nils so far. Nottingham Forest 2, Fulham 3. Fulham 2, Nottingham Forest. Oh, here we go. Back to the zeros again. Nottingham Forest 0. Fulham 5. Nottingham Forest 0. Fulham like to play Nottingham Forest. So it looks like if a team wins, it's going to be 2-0. And there's a very, very high chance it's probably going to be Fulham as well. Me personally, I'll probably go with Fulham to... when I say just nick it, I mean just. So I'm going to go 2-1 to Fulham. But honestly, 2-2, 3-2 either way. Something like that. I think it's going to be... I think that could be the entertaining game of the evening. Bournemouth versus Crystal Palace. Jesus God Almighty. I'm going to, off the top of my head, go 2-1 to Crystal Palace. Oh good, we're back to lots of zeros in this fixture. And the Crystal Palace 1, Bournemouth 0. Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2. Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 0. Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2. Crystal Palace 2, Bournemouth, come on, 0. And then finally, Crystal Palace 0, Bournemouth. What's the most common result here? 2. So it looks like the most common score here. In fact, 4 times in the last 6, a team has won 2-0. Crystal Palace on 3 occasions winning 2-0. So there we have it. Crystal Palace's record against Bournemouth is actually very, very good. Then moving on to the next fixture, which is, I think we've got I say a shock. I don't think it's going to be a shock at all. Informed Burnley up against a team in Wolves who they can frustrate teams. They do get opportunities, but they've got no attacking players at the moment. And we've got a lot of zeros in this game as well. I generally think that we're going to win this. I'm saying 2-1. I'm saying 2-1 to Burnley, despite what the history says. So apart from these first two fixtures where it ended 1-1 and 2-1 to Burnley, here we go. Wolves 0, Burnley 4. Wolves 0, Burnley 0. Burnley 1, Wolves 0. Wolves 1, Burnley 0. So yeah, it's looking like Burnley, we like to play Wolves. In fact, we haven't lost against them. We've only lost once in the last 6. And that was against Wolves this season when we lost 1-0. In fact, in that game, I'm not going to do a Dan here. I won't remember a clue. Oh, guess who scored? It was Chan. And who got the assist? Cunha. So yeah, I think that we're going to be winning this 2-1, 2-0. 2-1, 2-0. And I'll tell you a player that if anybody's really looking for a bargain goalkeeper, even though he hasn't got a double, Muric could be a really, really, really good shout for anybody looking for a proper differential. But they're not going to because he hasn't got a double. West Ham versus Tottenham. Hard fixture. I'm gonna say West Ham win this. It's based on absolutely nothing. I just think West Ham win it. I'm gonna go 2-1. There have been goals scored in this game. Tottenham have won 3 out of 6, but the last 2 West Ham have won away from home, 3-2 and 2-1. And I think that West Ham will nick this. They've got their first front 5 back essentially. It looks like it's working with Antonio, and I think West Ham are going to do over. Are going to do over Tottenham here. Arsenal versus Luton. It's a question of how many. Will Nketiah start and Saka gets rested? Jesus on the right, Nketiah through the middle, Martinelli on the left. I think Saka should be rested, but I'm going to go with Arsenal, even though Luton, again, it's the classic thing of they don't get battered. I'm going to go with Arsenal to win. Well, I predicted 4-0 against Spurs, so I'm going to go 4-0 to Arsenal. I'm going to go 4-0 to Arsenal. There's probably not going to be any history, so I'm not even going to bother looking. Brentford-Brighton. Brentford at home to Brighton. Brentford at home score lots of goals, but they also concede goals. I know it was like 0-0 into the 96th minute, but by all accounts, Brentford should have won that game comfortably, and I'm going to go with Brentford to win this. Even though Brighton like to play Brentford, only just mine. Brighton have kept a lot of clean sheets against. There's been a lot of. In fact, Brentford like playing Brighton. There's been lots of clean sheets. Brighton winning 2-0, Brentford winning 1-0, Brentford winning 2-0, Brighton winning 2-0. There's been a 3-3. In fact, there's only been 2 games at Brentford's ground, and they've both ended 2-0. One in favour of Brentford and one in favour of Brighton. I'm going to go with a Brentford win here, and I'm going to go with Brentford to win. God, the opportunities that they gave away, Brighton. I'm going to stick my neck on the line here. I'm going to go 3-1 to Brentford. This next game, Man City at home to Aston Villa. Wow. Massive. Absolutely huge for both teams. And obviously it ended Aston Villa 1-0 against Man City. But prior to that, Man City, they don't really enjoy playing Aston Villa. They do, in the sense of that they win, not by much. Man City 2-1, Man City 2-1, 1-1, 3-1. There's a 3-2 in there. I think Aston Villa score. I really do, because they do like to attack. Have they learned anything from the game against Man City in the first match, which happened on the 6th of December? I don't know. But Aston Villa can score goals. Will Ollie Watkins be fit again? Who knows? Is it going to make much difference? Again, I don't know. I'm not an expert in football. But Man City at home. I think they get back on track here, and I'm going to go with Man City to win. Yeah, I like that result from the 12th of February 2023. I'm going to go with 3-1 to Manchester City. And then finally, we move on to the last games of the game week, which is on Thursday. Liverpool versus Sheffield United, Chelsea versus Man United. Liverpool, they're going to... I think if they get an early goal, if Liverpool get an early goal, I think this could be a demolition job, 5-6. I predicted 5-1 to Liverpool at the weekend, and let's get real here. It really could have ended 4-5-6-1 to Liverpool. They absolutely destroyed Sheffield United. Well, guess what? There's a lot of clean sheets for Liverpool here. In fact, Liverpool have kept 5 clean sheets in the last 6 versus Sheffield United. But it's not exactly high scoring. In fact, the last time it was a high scoring game was back in 2007. The 24th of February 2007. This is going to bring back memories for certain people. Robbie Fowler scored 2 penalties, along with Sami Hyypiä and Gerrard, who both scored in the 70th and 73rd minute. But since then, Liverpool, they don't really score many goals. In fact, they've only scored at most 2. Sheffield United 0, Liverpool 1. Liverpool 2, Sheffield United 0. Liverpool 2, Sheffield United 1. Sheffield United 0, Liverpool 2. Sheffield United 0, Liverpool 2. So, Liverpool don't look like they like playing Sheffield United at all. But hopefully they get that clean sheet. Let's hope they get that clean sheet. And then finally, on to the last game, which is very interesting for me in the sense of 2 teams. I just don't think they've got they haven't got much of an identity this season in Chelsea and Man United. Chelsea are just trying to fit pieces of the jigsaw in places which don't quite fit. Man United are just shit. Man United's record against Chelsea in the last 2 is actually very good. They've won 2-2, 4-1, 2-1. Admittedly, it was at Old Trafford. But away, it's just draws. 0-0, 1-1, 1-1, 1-1. I think Chelsea win this. I think Cole Palmer is going to inspire Chelsea to a win here. I'm going to go with 2-1 to Chelsea. I'm going to do that boring scoreline of 2-1 to Chelsea. And, you know, like I say, this FPL season seems to be a week of, if a player does something one week, they do nothing the next. Or if they do nothing one week, they do it the following week. So, Cole Palmer, he got his 2 goals against Burnley, so he's going to do nothing against... He's going to do nothing against Man United. Salah should have got a hat-trick against Brighton, so hopefully he gets a hat-trick against Sheffield United. Son, by all accounts, should have got a hat-trick against Luton, so he's probably going to get a hat-trick against West Ham, and it just goes on and on and on. And when you expect Bowen to do something against Spurs, he's probably going to blank. You watch this space, you just know that's exactly what's going to happen. It's just the way FPL's been this season. It's just a tale of 1 week in, 1 week out. Anyway, on that note, I've got to get to Lidl, and it's going to be a very, very interesting midweek, and I'll be interested to see what Jason does as well. So yeah, anyway, there's the team right there in front of you. I'm going to reread it out again for the sake of it. Flecken, Ait-Nouri, Virgil, Gabriel, Son, Palmer, Foden, Salah captain, Saka, Tony, and Darwin. As ever, thanks for watching. If you do enjoy the content me and Jason bring you, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and comment below. Yeah?